Andrew, what do you make of the latest back and forth on relief?
Look, I think ultimately you need a big deal. The politics of a small deal are going to be vast, and you're going to be dealing with the politics of that for a very long time. If the airlines are saved, but small businesses are not, if small businesses are saved, but the unemployed are not given anything, if cities that are running into trouble aren't given anything, but big companies are, it just becomes a morass. And so you really do, from a political perspective, long term, I think we saw this in 2008 with the financial crisis when the banks were saved, but others weren't. We lived with that for 10 years, and I think we're seeing in our politics today. And so I think you do want an overall package. And frankly, I think that it is probably actually in both parties' best interest to do it. And I do wonder actually whether Democrats, oddly enough, will ultimately get blamed if something doesn't happen.
If you just help big business, get ready for Occupy Wall Street times a million. Danny, how do you feel about that? Because you have been fighting for the standalone bill for restaurants for months. Are you frustrated that suddenly the focus is on a bill to bail out airlines when millions of restaurant workers are out of work and hundreds of thousands of restaurants have already closed or they're on the brink of closing?
I'm not at all frustrated that airlines are part of the package. I'm frustrated if restaurants and live music venues and bars and food stands and food trucks and caterers are not part of it. This is the not only the economic engine of our entire society, but it really represents the emotional health of our communities as well. You have no idea how much emotional healing people need right now. That happens in restaurants, or it doesn't. Think about the millions and millions of employees who are just getting jerked around every time there's a new tweet, every time there's a new about face, who are being caught in this political morass, as Andrew just said. And it's time restaurants know how to plan. Cold weather's on the way. Outdoor dining is on the way out. A place like New York City has 25% capacity indoors mandated by government. That's impossible to make money at, but it's a lifeline. And what's great about the Restaurants Act, which has bipartisan support, it's been supported by Democrats and by Republicans, is that it would provide flexible funding for restaurants that compares their 2019 revenues to their 2020 revenues. And it is a big, big improvement on the PPP program, which we had back in March.
Andrew, we know that cases are on the rise in this country. We know that the weather is getting worse. If there is not another economic stimulus bill, what could this mean economically for this country? It was Jay Powell just a few days ago who was urging Congress to do something.
Look, I mean, this goes from being a liquidity crisis to a solvency crisis at some point. If, in fact, we go from a situation where we really go through a winter without any more stimulus, you're going to have a lot of businesses in trouble, and you're going to have a lot more people unemployed. I think there's probably a worthy debate to be had about how you target that money. I ultimately think, by the way, you're going to need a startup, or what I describe as a restartup fund, for a lot of businesses, especially in the restaurant and live events business, come spring and summer, hopefully, when those businesses have an opportunity to restart, because I think there's going to be a lot of restart funding that's going to be required to get there. And then the question, of course, is what do you do between now and then, not just for the owners of those businesses, but more importantly, for all of their employees?
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.